All right. Are we done?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
10 readings is enough.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just to observe that how it is made because I can't show you the demo with me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Okay, understood. So basically what is happening that with changing locations wherever you are, your MyTry app is actually indicating some of the results of the latitude and longitude and the corresponding RSRP value. So let's me share it once again. So we are in this case. So if you get a hold of those readings, so if you plot it, you will get this sample, okay, and latitude and longitude for whatever the readings you are taking. So for this example, I've taken 33, and you need a little bit of more read, like the more you take, the better it is because of a reason. So if you go back over here, the next step that you have to do is you have to generate the CSV file, as I said. So that is again with this 3 element, you are creating it. Hopefully that is also done. Now all of you log into the CRFO website. Okay, so what I'll do is crfo.org. Okay, I'm just giving you a demo right over here. So this is basically the CRFO website which I was telling you, and they have all the details and over. You don't need to do that. You just click on the CRFO map. Okay, here also it might work. So this screen will come in and you click on login. All this is given in the manual also, so don't worry about it. Now here they will ask you for a login. So mostly what I'll do is that using Google only will do it. So all of you please log in to the CRFO website with your Google login ID. Mostly it will be saved in your system, so it will redirect you. So if you are in this page, please tell me. Okay, whenever you are done, please tell me wherever you are. Please let me know.
Done, sir.
Done, all of you? This hands I will just lower because I am getting a bit confused that you might be having some doubt. So yeah, fine. So everyone is ready with it? Everyone is in the same page? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now if you check here, the first part of this map, this part, okay, where I'm holding on to, this is where you can just see that for different cities, especially this is given with respect to the major cities of each state, to be honest. For example, if I am residing in Tamil Nadu, if I am just happens to, for all of you, you also do it on your own, wherever you are residing in. So the state, it has some centers. Okay, so this is basically one of the center which is in Chennai. Unfortunately, I'm not residing in Chennai, but I can see at least that if I go to, if I select this Chennai, similarly, you can do it on your own with the state you are in, if at all it is there, or you can nearby pinpoint, go to location. Okay. Now, if you go to location, you can observe that it will take some time, but after which it is showing a cluster of this nature. So all of you please try this, although this is not directly is not relevant for us, but still since we are discussing the CRFO, we can look into it. So this is basically the test center. Now you can see in the left hand right hand corner, it is mentioned LTE base station, GSM base station, UMTS base station, like that. So different color, see purple, green, yellow, rather orange, this kind of a different color configuration. So if you check here, that if you zoom on it a little bit, okay, the colors you can observe over here. See this is green. Okay, so this yellow, if you consider, so this is an UMTS base station. UMTS is basically like you can say 4G enabled, like that, 4G and LTE in a way. UMTS is less than that, to be honest, like it's a 3G sim, 3G and beyond base station. LTE is 4G enabled because 5G we don't have yet. So that's why what is happening. So 2G, 3G and 4G, like that they have defined it. So you can check here that this green color, if you click on it, it is giving us some kind of an MCC. Okay, MCC is the center switching center number. We will see that when we discuss in in case of GSM and all. We'll see that later. It has a specific cell ID also, 2123. You can check here. Okay, so 2123 is the cell ID. This will be very handy when we look into the handoff scenarios for the cellular measurement. But we don't need that. We don't need that. And also you can observe that on top you can also observe the latitude and longitude of the particular base station, of a GSM base station nearing to this sector. So there are, this way you can, if you just toggle around any of this, you will get the information as it is. So like that, you can check here that this is 404 and some changes, and this MCC is actually dependent on the network also. So network means you can check in the left hand side. You can check in the left hand side when you are checking here, Vodafone, Airtel, Reliance. So it has this. These three are the primary contributors to the connection, and you can observe that they are working in the band of 2.1, like 2.1 gigahertz or 2.3 gigahertz for that matter. Because if you remember, 2.3 gigahertz is in ISM band, and ISM band is used for the 3G and beyond operations. So mostly you can find that the UMTS as well as the LTE, they will work in this particular feature, okay, particular frequency band, to be honest. So also you can observe that some of the spectrum occupancy, this also we can get from the observation, and this is in frequency in megas, that how the frequency bands are allotted. Occupied bandwidth is a particular bandwidth where the 99% of the total power is accumulated. So that is a heat map kind of thing that is provided over here. So these all are like informative to be used at different level for testing purpose, because CRFO is a website that is a kind of repository. It's a repository for taking all this thing account. But we are not bothered with this much, because again you can see that this is not of any good, because if you check for other cities, it will give you a center, and based on which we can see the mapping. Simple as that. The point is, the measurement that you have taken, like the 10-15 reading that you taken now, and you have made the CSV file, based on what you are going to do is that if I go on the right hand side over here, okay, the bottom half of it, you can see upload CSV file to see the heat map. So what I'll do, I'll just browse the file, like you have, supposing that you have also created your own file. I'll go here and then upload this CSV file over here. Fine. Now after doing this, I'll click on show heat map. Okay, I'll give you show heat map. Now I'll need to look into the scenario that because this reading that I have taken is in Vellore. So show towers. No, not this. I think I have to redo it once again. 1 minute. Okay, where is it?
The Vellore, it's down.
Downward, right? Yeah, I am looking at it. Wait, because there will be a blue dot which should come. Where is it? This is Vellore. Okay. Vellore Fort. Why it is not showing? No. 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. VIT University. Am I sample 1 CSV? I'm taking it correctly only.
So sometimes what happens is that the values which we take in the table, it doesn't take it like there might be some format.
It should come. It should come. In the diagram that I've given, no, this one. This is basically, if you consider this CRF, this one, in fact, you can see in the bottom I have mentioned here. See TT. So it actually came. This is Balaji. This is the food court that you're looking at. That's why I've kept it as it is. So I'll just redo it once again. Just hold on. You can also try on your own, like if you have created a CSV by this time, so you can just try using it. I'll also try because it should work. Comma separated file. Is this the file or this the file? It's coming now. See, all of you, please see this. I think I was creating a different file. So see, this is the blue color thing where I have made the most of the measurement, as I said already. Now, if I go on zooming it a little bit over here, see the centered value is, this is coming as a random. This value you can ignore for the time being. So if you go here, if you zoom on to VIT University and you go make more zoom, this is the photo that I was showing you. So the measurement I have taken, as I said, is in the TT building. Okay, so this is basically showing you the heat map of your measurement wherever you have taken the reading and the possible spread of the signal quality. Now you can observe that here in the right hand side, this is the dB intensity. So you can see the color intensity whenever this is deep color. So you can see around here is minus 65 dB. So it is around this dB. So if I zoom it, okay, so this is overlapping. So if you check here, this is minus 65 dB. This is minus 67 dB. This is minus 77 dB. This is minus 79 dB. So like that, it has stretched. The whole 33 odd reading has been made in a heat map kind of a format all throughout the environment or in the measurement area. Okay, so all of you, those who have taken the reading, you actually can create your own CSV file. You don't need to do it right now. Let me explain it first. All the CSV files you can create, and you can create your own heat map of your measurement. In fact, that is one of the tasks that you are supposed to do as a uniqueness in this particular experiment. Okay, because all of you will have a different set of reading. All of you who will have a different latitude and longitude in the first place, and that's why you will have a different RSRP mapping as well. Clear? Any doubt with this? How we are going to do? You don't need this first part of it. This is just for the verification purpose. The state and center. You don't need that. Just upload it in here, and you will get the heat mapping over here.
So,
yes, please.
Sir, can you like upload this example.csv in a file section just for the format example?
All right, I'll do that. I'll do it right away because again I'll forget it otherwise.
Also, I have one more doubt.
Please go ahead.
Sir, like the power which we get is like it depends on the distance also. Like it's sometimes minus 90 and minus 60 something. So it signifies that how much close we are to the access pointer.
Okay. Absolutely, I will come to that. Wait, we'll understand that also. Wait, I'll come to that. Don't worry, Mohit. I'll explain everything. I've shared the example file for your reference. It's nothing but it's just a pure set of data so that you can work on it. I'll come to everything now. So till this point we are clear. Okay, so till this point we are clear. So these icons and the photos that you are looking at, they are all the same. The one that I demonstrated, this one that you're looking at, the down one, this is not relevant. This is just a dummy set of reading. Like randomly, if you take it, like someone is making a measurement in Chennai, so he might get this thing done in the mapping like that. So don't worry about it. Now coming to the other interesting part of it, like Mohit was indicating, that the distance will play a very important role of measuring the power or the path loss, to be honest, because as I said, the path loss is a factor of D, and D is the separation between the transmitter and the receiver. Right? How do I know where I am with respect to the base station? Because if I don't know, because my transmitter is the nearest base station to which I am connected to, and I am sitting somewhere in this location. So how do I know? Now physically, if you go and make the measurement, that is the best possible way of doing it. But as we know that is first of all, that's a very cumbersome process. As an individual, you might not be able to do that properly, as well as this is ideally the work that the vendors usually do when they are making up practical link budgeting or a network analyzing in that order. So what we have to do, I'll come to this later, why we need it. Let's directly go over here. So for that, I would ask you to download again another app which is called as Cell Tower Location Finder Map Tower Locator. Please download this specific app. Don't go for any other, because there might be many other app also, but that is not required. This one is only you require. Please tell me if it is downloaded and tell me whether you are ready with it. Okay, just let me know. Quickly download Cell Tower Locator Location Finder. There's a reason for it. As I said, that we need to find out that what is the distance of separation from the nearest base station through which we are connected to. So if you are in that, is the download done? Can someone just confirm it once? Deepak also raised the hand. Okay. Mohit also did. Mohit, I think you did it, or it's just that. Please raise your hand, those who. Okay, Meghna is there. Raghav, good. What are the others? Jugal.
Sir, can you show the app again? Like there are many cell towers.
Yes, that's why. You just this is the app, Cell Tower Location Finder. What I'll do, I don't have the screenshot of the front page. It will look like a blue color thing with 4 icons: tower location, SIM and device information, tower list, and tower history. So these are the 4. I think I would add one screenshot of the app also here somewhere.
Yes, sir, found it.
Found it. Okay. Kartikeya Mishra, Jugal Joshi, all of you have done it, right? Utsav. Okay.
So installing.
Okay. Installing. Okay, good. After you install it, you will find that this is basically, and again, turn on your mobile data because you cannot have it with Wi-Fi, and select the SIM card. Okay, so how do you do that? You check here that whenever I'm looking at this, whenever it starts, it will have a window. It will have a window saying tower location. The first option will be tower location. Click on the tower location. If you click on the tower location, it will point you to this particular window. Now here, you please, in here you can see the 3 dot over here. Okay, ideally it will by default take SIM1. Now suppose for me what happened, that my SIM1 doesn't have an internet connection. Although we have a SIM, but I have not recharged it. For the time being, I have a SIM2 which has Airtel connection for a generally like a continuity format. So I made that. So what you have to do is that if you want to select the other SIM, you click on this icon, the one that I'm pointing now over here, and you can select the different SIM slot, whatever you want to, and based on that you can select the specific operator. Okay, if you do that operator, if you do it properly, you will find that the SIM2 I have selected over here. That's why the SIM2. You might have SIM1, preferably wherever you are using. Also, you can have an LTE type of connection. Okay, over here. It will also indicate the nature of power that you have, like this 404. This 404 actually is indicating to Airtel. That's MCC number actually that indicates in that way. But the important part is that first of all, there is this latitude and longitude that is also coming over here. Clear? So this latitude and longitude is coming, and you can see that there is a base station pointed over here through which the connectivity has been made. This is not related to the VIT part. Don't get confused. This is I took the measurement here in my home in Vellore where I stay. Okay, so this is nowhere close to VIT or anything of that sort. It's just for your illustration purpose. So this particular usage, the first shot indicates the location of the base station to which you are connected to. Okay, now if you go down a little bit, okay, now if you go down a little bit, you can find that if you click on this all, left hand corner, please follow it. If you click on this all, you will find all the nearby base stations which are there as a tower like this. Although it is an approximate solution, but as I said, physically it is very difficult to get a measure of the distance and all, so we don't need to have that for the time being. So all this is for the visualization purpose, that what are the available base stations around you that will come to your app. Am I understandable till this point? Clear? So now if I happens to know this, if I happens to have all the base station, now what I have to do, we have to calculate the distance. This is where Utsav was asking, like how you are getting the last portion of your reading. So you can see this is the primary connection that I have. For all of you must be, if anyone is not getting it, please let me know. You must be having one connectivity of this nature. So what you have to do is that you have to note down this location or the latitude and longitude. Okay, keep a reference to it, because this is your position as of now. This is your first reading. Suppose you are taking your first reading through MyTri app. So you are taking from MyTri app at this location. Yes,
sir,
yes.
getting data under MySim info, but not under the tower info.
Tower
Yes,
info.
sir.
You have to
right.
the tower to get the info.
Yeah, you click on that tower info. You click on this button, tower info here. And is it coming?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Just click on tower once.
This
Sir, I
this
clicked
one.
on that small tower.
This icon is blinking, I guess. This one.
I clicked
Yes, sir,
on
it came
this,
now, it
sir, I
came.
got
Okay.
it.
Got good. So now you got this information about the latitude and longitude. Now remember, already for that particular location, okay, for that particular so you are doing it parallelly, to be honest. At that particular location, using MyTri app, you have also calculated a latitude and longitude, which you have kept it in the CSV file. Clear? So now you have two set of latitude and longitude, one from MyTri app, and the other one from this particular locator. Now what you have to do, you have to log in to geodatasource.com. This is again a standard website where it calculates the distance based on the inputs of latitude and longitude that you are providing. It's a free software or a free website. Okay, it has a demo. You can just click on this link. I think it you can copy it and you can just see it to yourself, and it will look something like this. Okay, now as you can see here, it's clear instruction I have given here that in place of origin, that is this one, in place of origin, latitude and longitude, use the value as obtained from Try MySpeed app. Okay, so origin is like I am making, and the transmitter in this case, you can make sure that the transmitter is where I am originating. I have considered in that way that the originated call is from my side. So you can have the latitude and longitude of the MySpeed app over here. Okay, so I think this will change. I think this is a mistake I have made. I think the originated call will be the other way around actually. So I'll just see this in the PDF if I have the PDF with me. No. Can you just check that if the data that I've referred to 12.65708, I think this is a value. Let me check once. 1 minute. I'll just check it and tell you. 1.658. Yes, this is the data that I got it from the MyTri. I think this will be MyTri, and this will be origin because this is a transmitter in a way. This will be locator app. I think in the writing it is a little opposite, I guess. Guys, this is a small change I think you need to do, is that in the origin, okay, put the locator's app's latitude and longitude. Okay, just reverse the operation. Is mentioned over here that use the value as obtained from Try MySpeed app in the origin. Instead of that, you place the destination value, that is in destination you put the MyTri. Please make a note of this. I did actually, the diagram is indicating that, but unfortunately the writing it is wrong. So the MyTri data you fit in over here, okay, and the locator app data you fit in over here, and you click on calculate over here, and you will find that this is the distance that it will give you based on the latitude and longitude. I'm repeating myself. There is a mistake in the PDF, I guess. I'm not very sure because I'm doing it in a doc file. If it is there, I'll change it and I might re-upload. The thing is, you have to in origin in place of origin latitude and longitude, put the locators latitude and longitude, and in the destination you put your MyTry apps location destination as it is. Okay, so in that way, what you can do is you can find out the distance that you are separated from the base station at that particular instance. Naturally, you can imagine that the way you are moving from one point to another, your distance will also vary because your latitude and longitude will also change. That is why I am telling you to keep all the decimal figures intact for the latitude and longitude. Don't approximate it to 4 figures or something like that. Okay, so in that case, and if suppose in case of your this locator app, you will find that it will give you till this point 961 in general, or like till 3 figures. So since you need to match both these two, you can amend some zeros over here. That's what I did. Clear? So if it is giving you till 3 points, you have to append another 4 zeros to make it equivalent to the reading that you have taken it from the MyTry app. Because in MyTry app, that is a standard app, and that is a standard in the sense like there's a try build app, and the data over there is 7 decimal till 7 decimal figures. So the locators, although it is giving you a 4 decimal figure, you have to extend or append 4 or 3, whatever is required number of zeros to make it equivalent. Clear? So based on that, you calculate the distance. Now, if you know the distance, okay, with this process, any doubt with this? How do I calculate? How do I get it? Because everything is mentioned over there. Any doubt? If I know the distance, okay, if I know the distance, I can directly, okay, I can directly substitute in this kind of a model, because you can check here that the unknowns over here is distance. So for a particular distance d1, suppose in this case is 50 meters, like the reading I have taken, and you have a known frequency, suppose 2.3 gigahertz, you can find out that what is the path loss 1, PL1 for that particular instance. Now if I go back to the table, Utsav, now you can see that the PL, DB and D, so these values, when I took these values, this was random. This is not based on the locator app. This is just a random value just for your demonstration purpose. Okay, so because these values, this PLD and the D, this doesn't have any role to play with the heat map of CRFO. So doesn't matter what I have given over here, because it will only take these 3 values, these 3 columns. So what I did here, that this value of PLD is calculated based on the equation that you are referring to over here. This equation is actually for the urban micro environment, is given in the table also. I'll share you that ITU document also. So this is a particular model in which this FC might be 2.3 gigahertz. Okay, and this D, suppose it is 50 meters. You have measured it with respect to this. So what you can do is you can find out PL1. Now you go to another location. You do the same process and you get a meter in 60 meters, suppose. But your frequency remains as it is, you will get PL2. Correct? Now you go to another place, maybe this is 65 meters. Have you 2.3 gigahertz, you have PL3. So you can see that this can be easily done using a normal conventional MATLAB code, very simple MATLAB code, where you can fit in the values one by one and it will automatically give you the path loss as it is. And if you know the path loss also, okay, if you get the path loss also, you can re-verify it using, they have done the other way around actually. In this case, you can see they have also found out the distance in the other way around. Like if I know this is the like 2-way. Here in this case, since we know the D, we can find out what is PLD. But this is an alternative they are saying. They are saying that if we know PLD, suppose we are assuming PLD, then we can find out D from this expression. But we don't need this. We don't need this because we are now in a position to find the D on our own. Although it is an approximate solution, but at least for the time being, it is sufficient. So if we know about this PL, so we get the 33 PL values or the path loss values which we can consolidate and can substitute over here. So all these values are random. As I said, this is not the calculated value, but based on this principle, you can find out what is PLT. Now that is still not the end. If you go a little down in this manual, you will find that I have mentioned a table over here. See the standard table. So you can observe here what I have done. This PT, the transmitted power, is 41 dBm. Now this 41 dBm, again, it comes from the ITU standards. Okay, I'll give you this document. You will just go through. You will find this 41 dBm is a standard power transmitted from the base station, given that you are working at 2.32 gigahertz. And in most of the cases, the reading that you are going to take, you will find that the carrier frequency, the operating frequency, is of 2.32 gigahertz. Even for that, I have given you an option that suppose, sir, I don't know what is the carrier frequency of operation. For that, if you go a little up in this document, you see I've given a link over here, www.frequencycheck.com over here. Okay, you can just click on here and you will give it will ask you about the details of your vendor and the location or something like that, and it will give you the details of the operators at which frequency they are operating with. Like if you are using a Jio, what is the frequency of operation? If it's an Airtel, what will be the operational frequency? Like that. It is very similar to the CRFO that we were getting over here. Unfortunately, I don't have the option of seeing it for Vellore or for any other city. So in general, if you want to check, you can click on this frequencycheck.com and you can get what is the operating frequency of your operator at that particular location. So based on this, the FC is known, PT1 is known, so you can substitute and you can get the PL. Okay, you can get the PL from the model that you have mentioned. So PL is 1 by 1 is calculated over here. So what you can do, D also you have measured, D also you have measured using the process that I told you. So what you can do is you can find the respective receive power, and you can put it over here like PR over here, and you can go on calculating it 1 by 1 and substitute over here, because PR is nothing but PT minus PL, or I would write PLI, where I is a generic value like this. Am I clear with the overall experiment? What we are going to do? We first take the reading from a particular location. We have to parallelly do two things. One, we have to take the reading from MyTry app to get the value of the RSRP and the latitude and longitude at that point of time. At the same point of time, parallelly, you take the reading with respect to the location finder and find out and note down the location of the base station at as and when what is given. Based on that, what you can do, you can parallelly calculate using the geo format, that website that I was talking about over here, the geodatasource.com, that what is the separation distance between you and the base station. Keep it. This is your first sample reading. Similarly, you go on taking such 30 odd readings. For each 30 readings, make sure you do the same process again and again. So for each individual you will get a different set of heat map based on the CRFO. You will get a different set of path loss based on the calculation that is done, for the time being the equation that I referred to, and based on that you can calculate the receive power, okay, for the particular scenario. Because what we are taking an assumption over here is that your city, wherever you are, we are assuming that all of you are having an urban micro environment. That's where the question comes in, that sir, if it is not, then what is happening? Then if it is not an urban micro, then what will happen? So for that, I can observe that the plotted, I have just given some of the plotting over here. This is the sample RSRP for a particular set of reading, okay, in dBm. This is the path loss when I took it from the table and I plotted it over here. So your task is, okay, the task that you are referring to is that from your own location, okay, tabulate the RSRP data, that is through my app, MySpeed app, and create your own CRFO heat map. So definitely it can't match. Definitely it won't be same for everyone. It will be different. First tell me is there any doubt with the first task? Any
No,
doubt?
sir.
Done. This is, we already tested a little bit already for us, and CRFO heat map also we can generate using the CSV file, so that is done. Second part is where what is not there in the PDF is that for the same set of reading in task 1, analyze the download speed statistics, which we have not done, but you can get it very simply from the MySpeed app as a download option. You can keep a separate table where you can put the download speed one by one. So what you can do is network delay, packet plot, which all comes from the MySpeed app. You can tabulate it and you can have a plot of the same tabulation that you're doing. You can just refer it in a graphical manner so that it looks pretty nice as an illustration. So you can get a wide range of statistics, like how the download speed is varied or something. It's a profiling. We call this as a power profiling. So that we can do. Now see the third one. So any doubt with the second one? I'll go one
Sir,
by
for
one.
second one, do we need even upload statistics? Only or download?
Only download, sir, because upload statistics, what will happen? No, it will always be coming properly. Upload statistics will not be that much different. It will be there. The problem comes in with the download statistics, because download speed is always what varies a lot instead of upload. So you have to follow this download speed, because that gives you an understanding of how the download speed is. Even in our Wi-Fi or in everywhere, we will check. Mostly we'll find that the speed, when we check, we'll see the download speed. How much is the speed for download? So that is what we are more focusing on. Many cases you will find the network delay, it will be showing as not applicable or something like that. You can ignore that also. You can just ignore it as such. If at all you are getting any info on network delay, please make a note of it. Ideally, I'm more interested with this download speed statistics only. Okay. The other two, since it's coming together like as a part of the experiment, you can keep a note of it. That's what I'm telling you. Now coming to the third one, write a MATLAB code to estimate path loss that incur for urban macro. See, the one that I have mentioned, the equation that I was referring to, as I said, the equation over here is urban micro in scenario. This is urban micro scenario. So you have to do it in experiment, do the same experiment on basis of your own set of reading on urban macro scenario. And where will you get the equation? I will be sharing you the details of this document and the relevant portion of it where you have to just look into, because it's a huge document, so it's very difficult for you to find out. So in urban macro, LOS condition also I have mentioned, given the height of the transmitter is 1.5 meter, height of the receiver is 25 meters. Okay, so this is a different condition not given in the PDF, so that's a uniqueness on your own. Compare your finding for the same scenario considering any other frequency other than 2.32 gigahertz. 2.32 is primarily is what we are observing. The other reading you cannot synthesize, you cannot verify it, but for our experiment purpose, maybe what you can do, instead of 2.32 gigahertz, you can make it as 900 megahertz just for our testing purpose, because this 2.32 gigahertz is basically LTE or 4G kind of a frequency. 900 megahertz is a 2G enabled or a GSM frequency band. For just our illustration and understanding purpose, for the same scenario, keep the frequency as 900 megahertz and see how the path loss or the received signal in that way varies. That is what is coming in the fourth one, that how it is varying with respect to different frequencies and with reference to different urban scenarios or the measuring environment. Okay, so you can see, observe and conclude if any significant changes you are observing when you change the path loss model, because remember we are doing it for UMA or the urban macro scenario. We are as for example I have given you with urban micro scenario, but you have to do it for urban macro scenario. If you are more eager, you can actually refer to this document and you can find there are many other modules which are also available. The one that I am referring to, the urban macro scenario, is this one actually. This is the equation. So what we are doing it for the time being is this 36.7 log D plus 22.7 plus 26 log of FC. You can say this is the equation. I'll just go back once again. So this is the equation we are referring to for the basic experiment 36.7. So this is given over here. Okay, so this is urban micro NOLS, non-line of sight hexagonal cell layout scenario, and these are the specifications given. So this is already taken. What I want you to do is to use this particular equation. Okay, given the condition that height of the base station is 25 meters and height of the because you won't need that to be honest, because here this D, if you're looking at this D is greater than this DBP. Okay, it should be 10 meter to D. Now DBP again is given somewhere in the down. If you go here, this is the DBP. That is where you will need it. You can see here DBP prime is 4 multiplied by height of the base station, height of the mobile device, that is transmitter. FC is the carrier frequency that you are working on, and C is the speed of light. So this is the overall calculation we are doing over here. Am I clear? So what I want you to do is that you find your own heat map, you find your own RSRP map for the specific scenario and go on experimenting it for the further analysis. Any doubt with this? I'll do one thing before you come with a doubt. I'll just share you this ITU document also over here so that it's easier for you to see. Any doubt, please tell me with the experiment what you are supposed to do and all. Please let me know. Anyway, we are not.
Sir, do we also have to calculate the PR, that is
yes,
PT
yes,
PR?
yes, because
Sir,
that is, yeah.
Can you please tell then what to use in PT? I didn't get that part.
Yeah, PT. If I happen to share once again, in PT, if you go down, in most of the cases, as I said, it is a standard that the PT value will be around 41 dBm here. So it's a standard, it's a constant. That is the transmitted power, that is the base station specification, right? So this 41 dBm is again a standard defined by ITU. So what you can do, you can keep that 41 dBm as it is. You don't need to change the transmitted power because it's not in your hand, to be honest. It's a base station that how much is the power it's delivered from the base station. All right, so you keep that 41 dBm intact. Okay, so in order to calculate PR, you will need this as constant. So keep it PT as constant. You will have a varying PLI based on the model that you are referring to, because the model again varies with respect to the distance. PL is a function of distance. Okay, so you will have different set of value of PLI. So you will get PR1, you will get PR2 like that. So you put it over here. Surrounding, you add another table over here, another column over here, and you add the PR1. So what you can do, you can have a plot over here where this is my PR, which I have not shown, and this is the sample, and you can get some kind of a graph like this based on the received power. This is basically the hands-on experience of you doing a power profiling. You ask anyone who is there, this is what people do in your internships in core companies and all. This is the kind of internship that they provide you with. You have to go and you have to make this whole arrangement. So I'm trying to give you a look and feel of a typical hands-on experience on how the mobile path loss or the mobile network is monitored with, or can be developed or can be generated with. So that is the sole purpose of doing this experiment with you. All right, so please go ahead in doing it, and let me know if you have any other doubt as and when required. So the time is already 9:28, so we are done explaining it. So when we come back on 17, by that time, hopefully you will be at least have some time to find out the steps. You can refer to this step on given over in this manual at any point, so that it's easier. If most of the things are given over here, except please remember the one thing that is missing over here, that the origin in when you are making the distance calculation, in the origin the locator value of latitude and longitude should be mentioned, whereas in case of destination you should have the MyTri speed app data over here. That detail is somehow is opposite in the writing, so please keep a note of it. All right, so hopefully you had a little bit of interest. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not getting the tower information in the app, sir.
Tower information in that app you are talking about? Okay. In here, if you see this tower info,
Yes,
can you
sir.
in this you click on it, this tower info or this icon that might be like blinking.
So we have
Yes,
to
just
click on the
blinking,
base
sir.
station. So we have to click on the base station, then it will come.
This base
Sir, we
station,
have to click on
Yes.
it.
this green one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That also will do. That will, but you can click on here also. It will find you. That also works for me at least. So you can click on this base station and it will give you the details over here. It will populate.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Yes, sir.
Fine then. So we'll. I have you can see the ITU guidelines also I have shared over in this chat. So this will give you the idea about the table that we were referring to. It is the table A12. I think I'll just tell you that as well. Refer to table A12. Okay. This is the only thing that you require because it's a 72-page document which has lots of information which you might get confused with. So please refer to only table A12 in the document. The document is there in the chat itself. So just refer to the table and the necessary elements. Clear? Hopefully it was an engaging session and you understood what is a role. Raghav and Himan, if you have doubts something, you have raised your hand. Raghav, Himan.
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
No, sir, that was from the before only.
Previous only. Okay. Fine then. So all of you are here only. So I'll give you the attendance later. So we'll meet again post your CAT 1. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.